Hey there. So for this video, I have been going back through my archives and I found a sneaky peek behind the scenes look at the very first quiz that I ever wrote back in the day. And it's on the platform Interact. So it's really good for strategy because it shows you how I went about kind of creating the questions, why I created the questions, what I put into the results, how I did all the fancy correlations and stuff. So grab yourself a cup of coffee. This one's a long one, about 15 minutes long. I'll come back to it because I promise you it's a really, really good one if you're just starting out in your quiz writing journey. Enjoy. Okay, hi. So this training, I'm just going to take you into the back end of the quiz that I have created. Which creative superhero are you? That's the right one. Let's go into it. So I thought it might be useful if I just talk you through the reasoning behind my questions and results and answer correlations in this. This is the back end of Interact. So this is the first page that you come across. But what I'm actually going to do is just so you understand this as I'm going through, I'm just going to jump quickly to my results pages. I do recommend that you start with the results. So let's look at the results here. So just to start with, the quiz title was Which Creative Superhero Are You? And my ideal clients are artists, creatives, and performers. So I started straight away with helping people realize that this is the right quiz for them. So in the text that you'll see here under the picture, we have artist, creative, or performer. Okay, that's me. I'll take the quiz. And then the subtitle is also really important because you want your quiz to answer a question that your ideal client wants answering. Otherwise, they won't take it. And it also is to push them towards the product or service that you're offering. So it's really important that those two things are relevant. So I've done that here in my subtitle. Are you an artist, creative, or performer? Check. Oh, what could I sell to businesses? So for my ideal client, quite a lot of the time, they think it's a good idea, but they just don't know where to begin. So that's what I want this quiz to do for them. It's to tell them what they can do at the end. The other thing I just wanted to point out now, this is a second version of the quiz. So I have kind of a kind of cutesy cartoon one in another version of my quiz. But I actually read some research by Interact that if you have a picture of a smiling lady, I think it's something like 20 or 30% more likely for people to start the quiz. So I'm actually just trialing that at the moment on this one. Okay, so first of all, just so this is clear for you, I want to go into my results first. So I recommend that you write your results before you write your questions. So if I just go through the results here. So in this quiz, I have 5 different results. They basically are looking to see what kind of hero they are. So this is all about teaching them what they could sell to businesses, but I did it in this kind of fun, light way by saying, oh, what kind of hero are you? So what kind of difference could you make? So I have a learning and development hero, which is about improving the skills of employees, product hero, which is about selling into businesses' workplaces, an employee hero, which is about employees' happiness and well-being, an events hero, and then a corporate social responsibility hero, which is about using the arts and creativity to support communities. So I'll talk you through these results pages at the end, but I just wanted you to understand those 5 areas that I am pushing each of my quiz taker towards. Okay, so we'll take a look at the question. So my first question was, there are lots of artists that work with businesses. What do you do? So there's a few reasons for this question, and that's the lovely thing about quizzes. You can actually tick off so many different boxes in one go, find out exactly what you want to know, plus talk a little bit about what it is you do. So firstly, I'm saying there are lots of artists that work with businesses. So this isn't just about visual artists or musicians. There's loads of people that can do this. Now, on the other hand, if they read this question, oh, there are lots, and they go, hang on, I'm not any of these really, and I can't see where I fit, they might stop taking the quiz. And there is nothing wrong with that. In fact, with this quiz, I do have a lot of drop offs because it's quite a niche audience. And so if you don't fit in that audience, you kind of see here what I am offering, what my product is at the end of this isn't relevant. So they stop taking the quiz. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. So the other thing that this question does for me is beautiful segmentation, a really straightforward, easy segmentation. So who am I reaching through my targeting or through my Facebook ads or my blog posts? And it's any of these people. So I can see now that maybe 30% of the people are artists, visual artists, or crafters, 10% are musicians, whatever. So it's really useful for me in terms of finding out the demographics, if you like, of my audience. So that's my first question. Okay, second question. So nice and conversational. Okay, great. But what do you most love to do with your art? And let them pick two here. Sorry, I'm just going to jump back. On my results correlations, these do relate to certain answers. So if they're a visual artist or a crafter, they are most likely to be able to work in these three sections. So products, learning developments, and employees. Less likely to be in events and less likely to be in corporate social responsibility. Don't worry about that too much in terms of my quiz, because obviously that's my knowledge and understanding of my ideal customer. But you can see from this, each of these then relate to three or four. Three here, three here, three here. I left that one blank because I don't know what they are. So they each relate to specific answers. So that would just make this answer kind of null and void. So I'll talk about it a bit in a minute. Okay, so what do you love to do with your art? And I am allowing them to pick up two here. So really good thing about Interact actually is you can pick more than one response. I know one of the other quiz platforms that I initially started working with, you could only pick one. So that's great. So again, they maybe like to create, they maybe like to perform, or they might like to teach. And you'll see again that these relate. So create is pretty much everybody, perform is just the three, and teach. So again, that's my specific insight and knowledge. But what I'm trying to show you here is that you can correlate your results to more than one answer. That actually is a little bit more complicated, and you have to be really clear on your ideal client. When just starting out, I actually recommend that people just correlate one answer to one result on the questions that are pushing them towards a result. Okay, which of these superhero traits do you relate to? So the reason for this question, again, have a bit of fun, kind of make it fun and engaging. You want people to be enjoying taking the quiz, kind of use a nice fun image there, and it's bringing it back to the theme of the quiz. It does have results correlations on it to different things. This is also what I would call a teaching question. So one of my customers or potential customers might be like, why would I work with businesses? And I'm like, well, here you go. So in the process of reading the question and the answers, you're actually teaching them something, which is a brilliant technique that you can use in quizzes. So think about what you want them to know about the why or what they are going to learn from your product. So say you're teaching them about Facebook ads, for example, and they don't really know what the benefit of doing Facebook ads was, then you would list each of the benefits as your answers. So with my results in this one, if you want to make the world a better place, you're probably more likely to be one of my CSR heroes, as in doing good things in the community. If you want to help people improve their lives, you are more likely to be one of my learning and development heroes. And if you want to make the world a more beautiful place, you probably want to produce beautiful art or a beautiful event, and the world is lovely and beautiful. Okay, next one is this is a technique, a marketing technique, and you've probably heard of called future pacing. So it's all about getting people to imagine where they would be once they have bought your product or taken part in your service or course or whatever it is. So this one is like, oh my goodness, wouldn't it be amazing if I could go on an artistic retreat? Now, actually, I'm looking at this one because I've actually done You've Just Won. So that's kind of a bit like, oh, you've won one. But what about if you've earned one? What if because you've started working with businesses and you've earned lots of money, now you can get to go on an amazing artistic retreat? So this one again is just a fun one, a bit of future pacing. I also in this one have used a bit of understanding of my ICA. So some of my ICA would like time to reflect and, develop their artistic practice. Some would like to bounce off ideas of other people, and some would like the learning from it. So there's a whole different range of things that you can do with these kind of future pacing questions. And as you'll see, I have no correlations on that question. So everything relates to everything. This is kind of a filler question. However, it's still doing a really nice marketing job with future pacing here. This question, great. So, what excites you about the idea of working with businesses? Now, I love Interact because you can put a GIF straight in there and it goes into Giphy. So, you don't even have to search for it. You click on it and immediately they'll give you lots of different picture options from Unsplash and also GIF options from Giphy. I thought this one was really fun. And it's like, what excites you? And it's a superhero. So amazing that I could actually find that GIF. There's so many to choose from. And again, it's a little bit like the one I talked to before, but it's really reinforcing why would you work with businesses? So I can make more money, I can broaden my audience, and I can use my art to make a difference. By reading the answers, they are getting to see what the benefits are of what I'm offering. Now, the interesting thing with this one, I really like wearing a suit. I hate to break it to you, but you will never have to. So again, I'm doing a bit of teaching there. A lot of things that I talk about with my clients is that you, as an artist or creative, you don't have to change yourself. You don't have to be a business person. You definitely don't have to wear a suit. And so again, with this answer, I am teaching them or giving them a little bit of insight into like, guys, if you were to do this, don't panic. You don't have to change. Don't go changing. Okay, this one is how do you prefer to work? So you'll see as well, what I like to do is kind of mix the fun kind of questions up a little bit with the more serious ones. If you go serious, people will be like, oh my gosh, no. So you need to balance it out. This one does have correlations. So this is all about styles of working. So I know that my ideal client, if they don't want to work with a lot of people, they're much better doing one-to-one training or small groups. So that would be the first two options. But if they're a performer and they love events and I'm going to push them towards the events hero, then I want them to tick this box. And then I'm a loner, be somebody who was in their workshop, for example, producing pieces of art to sell. So you can see how I've used four different Ella questions there again to push them to different results. I mean, some are very, very specific. So if they're a loner and they like to work all by themselves, the only thing from what I suggest they do really is product hero. However, if they like making personal connections, they may do product hero or they may do learning and development where they're in, one-to-one situations. So you can really think about how your answers correlate, or you can just have a simple grid that says this question relates to this answer. It's up to you. And then finally, how do you honestly feel about the idea of working with businesses? So this does two things. Firstly, it helps me segment my audience into how far along they are on the journey. And what I can potentially do later on is include them in different email sequences based on whether they're a brand new guy. Eek, would I be selling my soul here? There's a big issue around artists thinking they're selling their soul by working with businesses. So that's kind of going, right, I understand you. I get it. Don't panic. But yes, you could make it so you would be sending specific emails to specific groups. That's really clever. So in my email system, I can now target each of those groups. So if somebody's ticked, I feel great, totally happy and excited here, then I can tag them in my email system and I just know that I can send them a different type of email. Now that's quite advanced. I wouldn't worry about that too much. But I would say from day one, it's worth gathering this information. So the next thing is obviously your lovely results. And you basically will have already set up your results before you've written your question, but you have as many as 4 or 5 different results that you can push people towards. So in this quiz, I have 5. And then you go ahead and you type what you want into your results page. So that is the simplest way to do it. And then you can add in a call to action. So this is all about events hero. So you explain who they are, what they, give them a bit of information. The results thing is a whole new different ball game and you can do exactly what you want with it. I recommend doing as much as you can, but you can actually also redirect your results at the bottom here to a different page. So you would either have the last page where you type in all the results into the box, but you can actually redirect to a completely separate URL, which is a great thing to do. Let me just show you what mine goes to. So the CSR one, for example, would push people to this page, which is sitting on my website. It's already in my website, which is great. driving traffic to your website. They can see what you've got. You can see my blog, my courses. Now, this does take quite a lot of time to do, so it might not be for like the intro training, but you'll see I have, rather than when you get the result, you get the small box, you have this beautiful page, and I have all the details there. I've actually recorded video of me talking about each result. And then this bit's crucial, the next steps. And on here, I have things like my freebies. I have access to my Facebook group, and it's just a nice, beautiful, beautiful page. And then they're on your page. So I do recommend with your results, you do as much as you can, but you don't need to at the beginning. You can just get something out and go back to the simple page that I showed you there at the beginning. So I hope you found that a useful little sneak peek into the back end of my quiz that really worked so well for me that I started being asked to write quizzes for other people. And that was the beginning of this lovely journey. I love quizzes. I think they are an absolutely brilliant way to generate leads, gather fantastic information, engage your audience, and just really do anything you want them to. So hope you enjoyed that little sneak peek, and thank you very much.